arrest is the strongest, most intrusive police power in England and Wales. It strips liberty, restricts movement, and places the public entirely under state control, meaning the law imposes strict conditions on how, when, and why it can be used. But time and time again, we see arrests where crucial steps are skipped, necessity isn't established, and explanations fall apart the moment they're challenged. Today, we look at a real arrest and custody storyline, analysing what the law required, what should have happened, and what actually happened in the case involving Pinaci News. So, when they hit you with the big line, "You're under arrest," everything changes. Not for you, for them. The clock starts, the paperwork begins, and the law demands they justify every second. Now let's take a look at how Pinaci News ended up in cuffs and why the story didn't survive contact with PACE. Welcome back to Know Your Rights, the Scorpion Audits deep dive series where real footage meets real law. This episode we look at arrest powers, custody procedures, Code G, Code C, and how a simple question, what's the necessity, can unravel an entire arrest. Arrest in the UK is governed primarily by the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, also known as PACE, and its Code of Practice. Under Code G, officers must satisfy two tests. 1. Reasonable suspicion, a clear evidence-based belief that a person has committed, is committing, or is about to commit an offence. And 2. Necessity test, arrest must necessarily be for a lawful purpose, such as verifying identity, preventing harm, or securing evidence. If either test is missing, unclear, or misapplied, the arrest may fail at the very first hurdle. Once detained, Code C governs everything that happens next, from booking in, to arrest, to legal advice, to welfare, to medical records. So, because I think so, isn't reasonable suspicion. We'll figure it out later, isn't necessity. The law expects more, and it expects it immediately. In the opening moments, officers approach Pinaci News and announce an arrest. Under Code G, the officers must communicate two things at that moment. The grounds, what offence is suspected, the necessity, why arrest is required, instead of a less intrusive option. The law is clear. Vague phrases, incomplete explanations, or statements like "we'll explain at the station" fall far below the legal threshold. So listen carefully what happens in the upcoming video of Pinaci's arrests. The work he's doing beforehand, the actual arrest itself. Listen out for the grounds and what does he get.
Yes, a 99. He's in the industrial area. Looks like he's on a pavement. Stand by.
Hello people and sheeple, Pinaci News. Right then, the time has come to put this video together. It's definitely been a long time coming, but in this video you're going to see what happened when I got arrested, but more importantly I'm going to explain what happened after I got arrested, where I got abused and tortured at the police station, where they ended up having to take me to hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning and eventually took me to court, only for the CPS to kick me out the side door before I even entered the courtroom. I will show how the police fabricated police reports in order to justify my arrest, which is perverting the course of justice and perjury in a courtroom. Then what happened after that, and a civil court case, turned out to be even more ridiculous. So I'm going to show what video evidence I have, which will have to be followed by my explanation of what happened after, along with paperwork and letters to prove it, because the police refused to provide any of my subject access requests, even though the ICO told them they were breaking the law and had broken the law regarding my requests, and where the police tried to hide all what happened and sweep it under the carpet, and were prepared to do everything possible to hinder this from going to court, no matter the costs. Everything I say in this video is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Right, this is the paperwork I'm holding in my hand, written and printed by myself before I go out. It's about YouTuber Max Paul's unlawful arrest. This is what I'm holding in my hand, standing across the street, as you can see in the video, just like any other journalist, BBC, Channel 4, Sky News, all standing outside places like Scotland Yard, etc. It's exactly what I was doing, and this is the paperwork that I'm reading from. Well, I'm at Southampton today, just about to go outside of Portswood Police Station, which is where I believe Max Paws, YouTuber, was unlawfully arrested. Now, how I found out that it was this police station was because of this Sainsbury's in this position. So what I did, I knew he was from Southampton area. I searched on Google Maps every single Sainsbury's until I found this location. So if I turn around from this location, there, it's Portswood Police Station, where I'm going to set up my tripod in a minute. I'm not going to run the video raw because there's a lot of it, but I am going to show you what I was doing and how I was doing it, and this is the angle I was doing it all from. And the only time my main camera moved was when I see someone watching me from the window and I tried to zoom in to see who that was. Apart from that, my camera didn't move, it was static, while I was reading my news report from sheets of paper, as well as some legislation regarding photography, journalism and the Terrorism Act. And as we all know, and as stated by ex-Chief Constable Andrew Trotter of the Association of Police Chief Officers, now the NPCC, National Police Chief Council, and confirmed, this is on the main road. Anyway, I need to nab one of these officers. I've got questions for them. Let's have a look at this section 26 of the Criminal Justice and Courts Act 2015. Here we go. Let me see. So, let's have a look. I've got questions. Yes, turn your body cam on. And you are? And you are?
PC Solly, how are you?
PC Sully, what's your number?
133.
And
you can
you
see
are?
it there.
PC Wellstead 27750.
Right. I've got some questions, don't run away.
No, that's fine.
No,
I've got a couple of questions, my friend.
You're detained.
Right, okay.
For the purpose of a grilling.
Okay, awesome. Do you mind me asking why you're outside filming today?
Is it against the law?
I did not say it was against the law, did I?
Well,
I said, do you mind me asking?
Yes, I do. I'm engaged in a lawful activity. Have you got any comment on police abusing their powers out of this police station? Do police abuse their powers, do you know, out of this police station?
Are you a journalist?
Do police abuse their powers out of this police station? Have you got any comment to make?
Not to you, my friend.
No? Do you abuse your powers at all? Do you ever abuse them? Section 5, terrorism legislation, anything like that? Do you abuse it? No? What about you? Do you abuse your powers at all?
Are you currently going to tell me who you are?
Am I obliged to tell you I am?
No, very quick,
What?
very quick question, sir.
Right.
I am asking, are you going to tell me who you are?
Rice versus Connolly, 1966, states that I don't have to identify myself or help a police officer unless I've been lawfully arrested for a crime.
It's a yes or no answer, isn't it? So are we going with no?
Of course I'm not.
Right, okay, that's absolutely fine. Right, that being the case, you have a jolly nice day filming outside here. You have a jolly nice day filming outside here.
Oh, you know, I haven't undetained you yet. I've got more questions. Where are you going?
I suggest you speak to the media department if you have questions, perhaps, please.
I've got more questions. Do you abuse terrorism legislation? I think he did. Oh, I've had so many questions for him. And off they went to leave me to have a jolly nice day, to record my news report and the police station. Let's have a look at some terrorism legislation. Terrorism Act 2000. He don't want to give me no questions either, or she. They're all up there now looking at me out the windows. As soon as you see me point the camera. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, look. Close their curtains. Close their blinds. Close their blinds down, look. That's just what they should do. Create your own privacy. But I'm pretty sure Max Pauls wasn't expecting that. Collects or makes a record of information of a kind likely to be useful to a person committing or preparing an act of terrorism, or he possesses a document or record containing information of that kind. Now, you've got some defences under this section. Now, Section 3A, the cases in which a person has a reasonable excuse for the purpose of subsection. The cases in which a person has a reasonable excuse for the purposes of subsection 3 include, but are not limited to, those in which, at the time of the person's actions or possession, the person did not know and had no reason to believe that the document or record in question contained or was likely to contain information of a kind likely to be useful to a person committing or preparing an act of terrorism.
They can wait for us, because they are certainly coming in our direction. Why not come for me, have you? Let me land this drone a minute, because then we can talk safely. Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change lenses and take some photos. That's what I'm going to do now. Apologies for the poor quality audio in this body cam footage. I was testing out a different body cam on this particular day and the audio wasn't very good.
Hello, sir. How are you today?
What's your name?
What's my name? What's your name, sir?
What's your name?
Yes, what's your name?
What's your name?
My collar number is 27713.
Have you not got a name on?
No, I don't wear a name.
No?
No.
What's your name?
27695, police officer.
What's your name?
Am I obliged to give you my name?
At the moment, no, but my sergeant's just finding the legislation to be able to require that, yes.
Right.
Cool.
Could you ask why you're taking pictures of the police station?
I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist gathering content for a story. And
Go ahead.
Royce versus Connolly, 1966.
Okay.
Case law. I don't have to give you my name. Unless I've been lawfully arrested for committing a crime, which I do believe journalism isn't.
Actually,
And no one's
you
taken
don't
pictures.
you don't have to give your name unless you're being arrested, but it can provide necessity
Yes.
for arrest if you've committed an offence.
Well, I haven't committed an offence. I'm standing out in public, taking pictures,
I was just correcting your
which
inadequate
is
knowledge of law.
which is what I'm allowed to do. In fact, I'm going to. I've got some questions for you, actually.
If you'd like
Yeah,
any sort of
I've got-
spokesperson from Hampshire Police to phone
No.
you can contact our media team, sir.
I've got some questions. Don't run away.
I'm not running away.
No, you're not free to leave. I'm detaining you for the purposes. I'm detaining you for the purposes of a grilling.
Of a grilling.
Yeah.
Is it section 50?
Section 50, police reform.
As you can hear and see in this footage, it's been pre-planned to come out here to obtain my details. They're just waiting to figure out what legislation they can abuse to get my name. And what happens after I'm arrested is full-on war for my details. I'm not being antisocial.
Section 50 of the police reform.
I'm not being antisocial.
And antisocial behaviour is anything that can be seen as being cause annoyance to another member of the public.
I haven't caused annoyance to anybody.
It is subject.
I
am requiring your details. I warn you that failure or refusal to provide me your details is an offence that may lead you liable to arrest.
Do you abuse your powers at all?
I'm not abusing my powers at
Of
all.
course you are. You abuse them now.
Yeah, family's going through it now.
Do you think it's okay to arrest people without reasonable grounds?
Well, the grounds are that I've required your details under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act and you're refusing to give me those details. Those are the grounds for the offence. And if you refuse to give me your details, the necessity for the arrest would be to ascertain your name and address.
I have not committed antisocial behaviour to any members of the public. I'm here minding my own business, creating a news report for my news channel.
That's absolutely fine if that's what you believe, sir, but I have...
No, it's not what I believe, it's what I know. It's not what I believe, it's what I know, it's a fact.
Okay.
Section 50, police reform.
2002. James, no?
Yeah, family's got that bit already.
In fact, hang on, let's have a look. Thank you. But you know full well I'm not being antisocial.
Antisocial behaviour.
You're just trying to abuse your powers. But from the Association of Police Chiefs, okay, a memo was sent out on the 26th of August 2010, which I confirmed with an email that's still valid today, that there are no powers prohibiting the taking of photography, film or digital images in a public place. Therefore, members of the police and members of the public and the press should not be prevented from doing so. We need, this is for you lot by the way, we need to cooperate with the media and amateur photographers. Would you like to read it for yourself?
You can read it out to me, sir, if you want.
They play a vital role in their images, as their images help us identify criminals. I'm not a criminal. So you have no powers to stop me from doing what I'm doing. It's even on the Metropolitan Police website. It's even on the Metropolitan Police's website. Freedom to photograph and film. Members of the public and the media do not need a permit to film or photograph in public places, and police have no power to stop them filming or photographing incidents of police personnel. This is all public information available on the police website.
At what point did I ask you to stop filming or stop taking photos of the police station?
Well, what I'm doing is not antisocial behaviour. It's called journalism.
Under the Anti-Social Behaviour Crime and Policing Act of 2014, you could be causing people harassment, alarm or distress.
Could, but I'm not.
Yeah. How do you know that?
Because I'm in minding my own business.
From the station, you're taking photographs of them. How do you know how they're feeling about the fact that you're recording them and we don't know where they're doing?
Their feelings is not my concern.
Well, it is. If you're causing them any harassment, alarm, distress, you are
which I'm not.
directly causing a complete affliction to this.
Does that come under Section 5 or something?
No, I just told you that. So it's the Anti-Social Behaviour Crime and Policing Act of 2014. We're requiring your details under the Police Reform Act 2002 for antisocial behaviour because of you taking photographs of officers.
Because of standing outside a police station conducting journalism.
You were taking photographs.
And you know exactly what I'm doing. You can see all my equipment. You know exactly what I'm doing. I'm a journalist gathering content for a story. It's as simple as that.
Provide your details.
I have not committed antisocial behaviour to anybody. I'm minding my own business on the street as a journalist, creating a story. That's exactly what I'm doing.
At this time, if you are refusing your details, you could be liable to arrest.
And you could be liable to a nice lawsuit. Did you know in the past 4 years?
You're welcome to make a complaint and go down that path if you want to. If anything that we've said or anything we're doing.
In the past 4 years, there's been over £30 million paid out.
Is that what you're asking?
No.
Are you just after money for discovery?
I'm explaining to you in the past 4 years, there's been over £30 million paid out in unlawful arrests and out of court settlements for you doing exactly what you're doing now, which is a part of what my story is about.
We've explained to all the legislation and why we're here. All we're asking for is your details.
And I've explained to you exactly what I'm doing, and I don't believe I'm engaged in antisocial behaviour whatsoever.
A lot of people don't believe they're committing crimes when they are committing crimes.
I know I'm not committing a crime. I'm not committing antisocial behaviour.
Your details are under a specific act of crime. You do not provide us those details, sir. So at the moment, you could be committing an offence.
I don't believe I am committing an offence.
You don't have to believe it. I'm explaining it to you.
And as I said, a lot of people don't think they're committing crimes by doing what they're doing. We'll explain to you why we're here and why we require your details. It's a perfectly reasonable request. We're not asking you to do anything abnormal or unusual.
If you're a journalist, sir, have you got a business card?
I have, yes.
Is it possible to see one of those business cards?
No. I've got one in my pocket. I've got a media card in my pocket. Am I obliged to show it to you?
Yes.
Am I obliged to show it to you?
Yes. Exactly what my arrest is.
It's under Section 50.
The police officer in the background says, yes, what exactly am I arresting him for? So you can hear the conversation. He's on the radio to his sergeant, who doesn't like the fact that I won't give them my name and address. They've tried using the excuse that I recorded people leaving the police station, none of which has made a complaint. There's no complaint of antisocial behaviour, so it's clear the police are just abusing Section 50. Now, no, I'm not here to sue the police, but it looks like I will be.
Okay, sir. Do you want to do it? So it's 1557 at the moment. You're under arrest under Section 50 of the Police.
Thank you very much.
Saying provide your details and required to do so by a police constable.
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. You may have any questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Anything you do say may be given as evidence. Okay. The necessity for your arrest is to ascertain your name and address. As soon as we've ascertained that, we'll be able to potentially de-arrest you, sir. Thank you very much.
You don't mind me waiting to just put this in the bag there?
Of course, put that in your bag. Yeah, I'm not going to be that much of an arse.
Right, and can you also...
I'm completely cooperative with you.
Right, can you also say that I am registered disabled?
Okay.
And so, you know, I'm not going to run away, and I'm not violent or anything, so
We're not handcuffing you.
I prefer it if you didn't handcuff me, because I've got arthritis in my wrists.
We've got no reason to handcuff you. You've been perfectly polite with us. You're not being threatening in any way, shape or form, so I've got no reason to handcuff you.
Thank you for that.
Still got Section 22, though.
Yeah. Is that camera still recording? The one on your chest?
Did you tell me I had the right to remain silent?
I said, no, that's an Americanism. You have the right not to say anything.
Right, well then I have the right not to say
You do not have to say anything. But
To say anything.
If you do not mention
Right.
regulations,
So I've got a right to silence then.
Are you going to still refuse
down,
all details for us?
I don't believe I have to give you my details because I haven't committed anything
All
antisocial.
we're asking for is your details.
So I'm sure a solicitor will deal with.
hands out your pockets for me, sir?
I'm sure a solicitor will deal with
search you
that.
under section 32 of PACE, okay?
Can you explain what that is?
I'll get off it.
Yeah, it's police constable's power of search on a detained person after arrest.
Right, I'm going to have to take this off you though and turn it off, okay?
Why you turn it off?
Because you're now under arrest. Ours are still on. Both of ours are still on. So everything's still being recorded.
Don't delete those because I request.
That's fine. How do you stop it then without deleting the footage?
With a SARS request.
How do you stop it without deleting the footage then so I don't accidentally do it?
Why are you shaking?
Sorry?
Why are you shaking?
Why am I shaking?
Yeah, why are you shaking?
Yeah, someone's been cutting back the hedges.
So, what did you think of that then? There's quite a bit of abuse of powers there. So, moving on to after the arrest. So, after an arrest, officers must transport the detainee to a custody suite promptly. Once inside, only the custody sergeant, not the arresting officers, has the authority to authorise continued detention. The sergeant must examine the grounds, necessity and overall lawfulness of the arrest. If it doesn't stack up, they should refuse detention. This is where officers often try to smooth talk the sergeant. A shaky arrest becomes a confident story. But Code C doesn't care about confidence, it cares about evidence. At the point of booking, detainees must be told their rights in clear, accessible language, which should include free legal advice at any time, right to notify someone of their arrest, access to the full PACE codes, medical assessment if required, rest breaks, food, drink, hygiene, and religious observance. These protections exist to balance the immense power of detention. When skipped or minimised, they undermine the entire process. So, watch for the moment that if they try to blur through their script, rush the process, or skip details, that's a Code C failure. Once booked in, delays must be justified. Officers must provide a consistent time frame, clear grounds and accurate notes. The custody sergeant must carry out periodic reviews, examining necessity and, most importantly, welfare throughout detention, which is picked up in the second part of the case study. So, when the timeline stops making sense, the story usually starts making sense. Someone's trying to fix a bad arrest with good paperwork.
So here I am, brought into police custody, where I'm searched, and I have a bunch of data mining questions thrown at me, for which I choose to refuse to answer, including my name and address, obviously, except for the question where they ask if I'm feeling suicidal. So I answer that question with a no, so they don't get any ideas to strip me naked and put me in a cell in a paper suit. Anyway, I've denied all their questions, but I do mention that I am registered disabled. I'm not going to go into details about everything that's physically wrong with me, but I will tell you that I take some very strong painkillers for perforated discs in my spine, and I take other medication so I can eat food. As you know, in these situations, the custody sergeant will ask you your name and address, for which I refused. And I also refused fingerprints, photographs, DNA, and the biometric process, which I'm entitled to do, because the offence I've been arrested for is not recordable, and you are only obligated to provide fingerprints, photograph, DNA swabs, etc., if it's a recordable offence. So being that this is a summary offence only, I'm under no obligation to provide all that information, as confirmed here in a lettered response from Inspector 3747 Fansett, who was dealing with my pointless complaint. The DP, that's me, detained person, has refused to give any details, and as a non-recordable offence, I cannot force him to engage in the fingerprint or DNA biometric process, and am unable to confirm who he is. Anyway, after all this, I'm now given the new name of Mr. No Name, No Name, which will be the name I'm charged under, and the name I'm taken to court where they try to maliciously prosecute me under. I also inform them that I'm in a lot of pain and I need my medication, which I carry with me everywhere I go. But because all of my medication is all ordered in bulk, I don't carry all the boxes around with me with my name and address on. So you have two options. You can carry them in their blister packs, like I do some of the time, or you can use those pill boxes. But I choose to carry my medication around in their blister packs. So I'll tell them I need my pain medication, but I'm told by their healthcare professional that it's against the law for him to give it to me, unless I give him my name and address. Now there's a surprise. This all becomes a factor later, as part of the torture in the cell, where I'm asked if I'm okay, and I'll reply no, I need my medication, followed by, well, give us your name and we give it to you. And all while this is happening, my condition is getting worse. And now you can add the fact that I can't eat any food because I need some of my other medication, which they will also refuse to give me, all while stating it's against the law, because I don't have my name and address on my blister packs. Well, will anyone be surprised if I told you there's no law whatsoever governing whether a healthcare professional at a police station can allow you to have your own medication that you carry around with you if it hasn't got your name printed on a label? There is, however, some guidance for healthcare professionals working at a police station, and that guidance states that it's at their discretion. There's a document called Safe and Secure Administration of Medication in Police Custody that states, in Appendix A, Assessment of Patient's Own Medication, Assessment Criteria. 1. Label. A. Medicine is clearly labelled with patient's name. This may not always be present for items where it is usual for the dispensing pharmacy to label the outer packaging. In this case, it will be necessary to assess the risk of allowing or not allowing the patient to use the medicine, as long as the medicine name and strength are clearly visible on the container and correspond with the contents, which they do if they're in a blister pack. Also states blister strips, check the strips for manufacturer's expiry date and do not use if passed. But my point being is it's at the health professional's discretion whether they allow me to take my medication or not. And there's no other reason why I would be carrying that kind of medication if it wasn't for the conditions that I have. So they know the medication is obviously mine. I'm requesting it for the now conditions that I've informed them that I have, but we're in a fight for my ID. And they're going to use this over the next 18 hours as a possible negotiation tool to get my name and address. But I'm a stubborn bastard. And just to show how determined they really were to use my medication as a bargaining tool, on my arrival to Southampton, I popped into Sainsbury's and bought myself some over-the-counter, off-the-shelf Gaviscon indigestion tablets, because my prescribed medication for that comes in a bloody great big bottle. So I purchased a blister pack of about 24 tablets for my acid reflux. So I asked the healthcare professional if I could have an indigestion tablet to calm down the acid reflux that was burning my throat. But no, you can't have any of those because it's not got your name and address written on the box. That would be the box I've just purchased over the counter at Sainsbury's. However, they said, give us your name and address and then you'll be allowed to have one. Yeah, you can see where this is going, can't you? So here I am, sat in my cell, Mr. No Name, No Name, in agony, because my pain relief has worn off, with acid reflux, burning my throat, and the police withholding all of my medication because they're using it as a bargaining tool, waiting for me to cave in and give up. At about every 30 minutes or so, I have a custody officer come and check on me, ask me if I'm okay and do I need anything. I will reply, yes, my medication. They will reply, well, if you just give us your name, then you can have it. This goes on for many hours until the duty solicitor turns up for my interview. I'll speak to the duty solicitor alone and explain to him what's happened and why I'm here. And he listened while trying to stay awake because he's been up since 7 o'clock and this is now about 11:30 at night. And it's with this interview with my solicitor that I first get to see what statements are made against me. All by the police, by the way. None by any members of the public. So let's take a look at my case papers, which is Regina v. No Name, No Name. As you know, I was being accused of acting in an antisocial manner whilst standing across the street, minding my own business, recording a video, when a police officer, using Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, requested my name. Here is a summary of their key evidence. Persons involved, unknown male subject. Police became aware of a male standing opposite Portsmouth Police Station taking photographs and recordings of the police station and members of off-duty police staff coming and going, including vehicles entering and leaving the premises, marked or unmarked. Apparently, I ruined the covertness of one of their unmarked vehicles. That would be the covert undercover police car constantly entering and leaving a police station. It also appeared that the male intentionally zoomed his camera into the kitchen area of Portsmouth Police Station as the window was open, and the taser room. Well, you can all see the video and no one would know that there's a taser room there. Also, at the time of the recordings, there were also 3 members of the public attending the police station, 1 victim of crime, 1 suspect attending a voluntary interview, and a solicitor. The male appeared to take photographs, film recordings of these also. My camera was pointing at the police station as a backdrop to my story. It states that it was clear that his behaviour was likely to cause an average person to feel a significant amount of alarm. But none of these people were bothered, none of them made any complaints. The following witnesses have provided statements. We have Acting Police Sergeant 25316 Pussy describes witnessing harassment, alarm and distress the male's filming caused to his staff and to staff from the prior shift that were going off duty and concerned about leaving the police station. Describes the male's behaviour as being antisocial. States due to the current risks, the male is an unknown entity with an unknown agenda and which caused him alarm and distress because of the threat he posed in the context of the current risks. Stated the male was filming, trying to film inside of the building and restricted area, and filmed marked and unmarked police vehicles. Not quite sure where they get restricted area from, but hey ho. Now this is the pathetic witness statement of Acting Sergeant 25316 Dale Allen Pussy, who was currently based at Portswood Police Station. I'm going to read out the whole statement because in my opinion this is really pathetic. I am Acting Police Sergeant 25316 Dale Allen Pussy of Hampshire Constabulary. I am currently stationed at Portswood Police Station. On Wednesday the 2nd of September 2020 I was on duty in full uniform and one of 2 supervisors of the late shift response and patrol team at the above police station. The other supervisor was Police Sergeant 20340 Crane, and we were both directly supervised during this duty by Police Inspector 140 Pryor. This statement is in relation to a currently unknown male that was filming the above police station, its police officers, staff and members of the public on the above date from approximately 3 o'clock to 3:30 hours until his arrest. I will refer to him as male. I witnessed both male filming and the harassment, alarm and distress his filming caused to my staff and to staff of the shift prior that were going off duty and concerned about leaving the police station. It is fair to me to describe his behaviour as being antisocial. even though taking pictures, recording and journalism isn't on the Home Office list of what they class as antisocial. But anyway, it is widely accepted that during incidents of public disorder, police officers are expected to have a higher level of tolerance in regards to being caused harassment, alarm and distress. However, when applied to this circumstance, when it comes to possible hostile reconnaissance and filming of the police station, its vehicles and persons entering and leaving the police station, it does cause considerable fear owing to the current threats facing police officers and staff from those known and unknown to us that wish to cause harm. We are currently at risk from international and domestic terrorism, extremist behaviour, increasing civil unease during the coronavirus pandemic, and also due to violence towards police officers in the wake of several high-profile incidents in the United States of America involving shootings of police officers. What the has shooting of police officers in America that happen every day got to do with recording a police station for a journalistic report? I am aware that male was approached by two officers initially, and he was described as uncooperative and showed some hostility towards the police, also refusing to provide his details. To me, this made male an unknown entity and an unknown agenda, but clearly not a registered, accredited member of the press or a police enthusiast, which caused me alarm and distress because of the threat he posed in the context above. Well, what can I say? What a snowflake. And here's an interesting perverting the course of justice statement by PC 27426 Taylor, who describes bringing a vulnerable victim to the police station and shielding her from the camera view. States that neither police officers on duty nor visitors into the station should feel harassed or distressed by the actions of any other person. She does not feel that victims of crime should feel that their privacy should be compromised when attending the police station. Yet this victim of crime didn't even know I was there. And PC Taylor certainly didn't shield her from my camera, because I don't think she was that bothered that I was there either. See for yourself in the video.
Focus on the fantastic things that they're doing. So this is the wash plant over here then. Let's just take it all in. So we've got big hardcore here. The smaller fine stuff here. And the final products over here in these bays. As you first enter the site, you are met with a weighbridge there, and there is, I think that's the crusher, or one of the crushers down there, with a mobile phone mast. They are also loading stuff into here, maybe the smaller stuff, goes through that. It travels up the conveyor belt to start its journey. So the conveyor belt drops it into that, which seems to be washing it.
Then there's PC Johnson, the arresting officer, has formed the belief that the male was committing antisocial behaviour. And then there's PC Usher, described the male's actions and filming, says the male stated to be a journalist and was quoting statistics and figures about unlawful arrests. Believes the male's actions may have caused members of the public harassment, alarm and distress. The male disagreed and continued to point out it was not a crime to film in public and refused to give his name. So there were no complaints by members of the public that they felt harassed, alarmed or distressed. None at all. The only complaints were made up by the police after I got arrested in order to try and justify the use of Section 50 of the Police Reform Act. Let's see exactly what PC Taylor did say. Today, Wednesday, 2nd of September 2020, I was single crewed on duty in full uniform in the call sign ZW62. At around 3:15, I left Portsmouth Police Station to collect a vulnerable victim of crime so that she could give an evidential statement in relation to a crime. Well, I didn't even start recording until 18 minutes past 3, and I can't even remember seeing her leave, and she certainly wasn't recorded on any of my cameras leaving, so I'm not quite sure where she gets that part of her statement from with that time on it, because I only have her recorded coming back. On leaving the station, I noticed a male standing on St Denis Road near the delivery entrance to Sainsbury's, opposite the police station, with what appeared to be a camera on a tripod, holding what looked like an A4 folder of papers. I thought that this male was acting unusually, as I did not know who he was or what he was doing. As officers, we are vigilant around the security of the police station and the privacy of others and visitors on site. Therefore, this male caused me some level of concern. On returning to the station at around 3:35, it was actually 3:45, but anyway, I noticed that this male was still in that position, focused on the police station. I was very aware of this unknown male and was mindful that I was bringing a vulnerable victim of crime into the police station in a marked police vehicle whose discretion and privacy was paramount. Due to the behaviour of this male, I parked the police vehicle in such a place as to ensure my victim exited the vehicle on the further side from this male and stood between her and the eye line of the male whilst escorting her into the vehicle for her protection. Well, when she arrived with this victim of crime, she certainly didn't block her from the camera's view or my eye line, and when PC Taylor left, she left on her own, and my camera was already packed away, as you can see in the video, because I'm about to be arrested. And we have a PC 27534 Chan, who expressed his alarm and distress at being filmed as he exited the police station in a police vehicle, as he is the only officer of his ethnicity at this police station and therefore easily identifiable. Anyway, eventually I'm taken into an interview room where I stated for the camera and the audio that they've been making me suffer in my cell for hours and hours without my medication, before we started a no comment interview consisting of no comment or I'm just a journalist gathering content for a story. However, towards the end of the interview, one of the interviewing officers tried to blackmail me into giving them my name and address. Or rather, I asked my solicitor if it was blackmail, but he said no, because there was no money involved. So basically, what this interviewing officer said to me was, if you just give us your name and address now, we'll let you out of here within an hour. It was clear throughout the whole interview that the only thing they were interested in was getting my name. And that was it. This was a fight for my name. They were not bothered about any antisocial behaviour or worried about the feelings of anybody else. And neither was I, because we don't police feelings in this country. And that was it. This was a fight for my name. And they're pissed off that I'm not giving it to them. So they're going to try and screw me as much as they can. So the interview's over. I'm taken back to my cell where I'm charged and told that I'll be going to court in the morning to speak to the magistrate. But after a few more hours in the cell, in agony, because they're refusing to allow me to have my medication, they come in and tell me that they're taking me to the hospital, where I can give them my name and address in confidence so they can look me up and then provide me with my medication that the police already have. So off I go with two schoolboys dressed up as police officers, placed in the back of a van and taken down to Southampton General Hospital, where I'm placed in handcuffs so I don't run away and escorted into the main A&E reception, where everybody is masked and gloved up because COVID is just starting. These two police officers explain what's going on and inform a senior nurse that I have to give them my name and address, but they're not allowed to hear, so the hospital can then provide me with some medication, the same medication the police are carrying in an evidence bag. The senior nurse then shouts at these two officers and just says, "Give this man his medication. You've got it right there in your hands." "We're not allowed," they said. The nurse looks at another nurse in disbelief. So eventually I give another nurse my details so she can look me up and find my NHS number. Then eventually I'm taken upstairs to a ward where I'm put in a cubicle to speak to a consultant, who then brings me all of the medication that I need. She then tells the 2 young police officers to bugger off because she wants to have a private conversation with me. They look a bit worried, but they comply anyway and bugger off up the ward a little bit. Then this consultant doctor asks me what's been going on. So I explain to her that they've been withholding my medication as a bargaining tool to try and get my name and address out of me, because I've been unlawfully arrested for recording as a journalist across the street. But because I wouldn't tell them what my name was, they arrested me and have been making me suffer in the cell ever since. Now the consultant doctor calls the 2 PCs back and asks them what's going to happen in a few hours when his medication is up for renewal again. And they reply with, well, we're not allowed to give it to him. So she turns round, raises her voice and shouts at them and tells them that you will give this gentleman his medication at 10 a.m. and that you will give him all of his medication and some food. So they are to inform the custody sergeant or the healthcare professional when they get me back to custody. As I was being led out, there was another nurse who brought me a sandwich, because now I can eat some food, because I've had my medication, which I need in order to eat food. Otherwise there's going to be complications. I did make a subject access request for the hospital files that showed my condition when I was brought into hospital. I'm not going to read it all out to you, but let's just say my blood pressure was through the roof due to the pain I've been suffering for an extended period of time. Right then, I'm now back at the police station and placed back in my cell, where I try and get my head down to try and get some sleep. Now I've had some pain relief and it's starting to kick in. My cell door opens a few hours later, where a couple of Serco employees asked me to put my boots on because I'm on my way to court. So I'm handcuffed again. I hobble to the Serco van, where I'm placed in what looks like an upright coffin, barely big enough to fit in. And I'm not big. I am placed in one that has a little window though, because they know I suffer with claustrophobia and cleithrophobia. So I push my face up against the glass window and take the ride to court, where I'm placed in another cell while waiting to see the magistrate. Right, welcome to part 3. While I'm sat here in the court cells, let's just have a quick recap. First, I'm told to have a jolly nice day recording outside the police station.
That being the case, you have a jolly nice day filming outside here.
Followed by being unlawfully arrested using Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, because I won't give them my name due to the fact that journalism is not antisocial behaviour, especially if I'm stood over the other side of the street, minding my own business.
So at the moment you're under arrest under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act, saying to provide the details and required to do so by the police constable. Yeah. You have said people plan on defence. Yeah. Anything to do so may be given evidence.
And then I'll spend 18 hours in a police cell in agony because they're refusing all of my medication, followed by a quick trip to the hospital to be provided the medication that's already been prescribed, which they have in their hand in an evidence bag. And now I'm waiting in the court cells, looking forward to talking to the magistrate. However, after about 20 minutes sat in the cells at the magistrate's court, a Serco jailer comes to visit me to tell me that I might be getting released. And she's just off to double check. And 10 minutes later, returns with this sheet of paper from the court's legal advisor that says, to Serco jailers, please note the case against no name, that's me, has been withdrawn. I do not know the reason, but Natalie Angel, prosecuting, requested it. The court could not refuse it, therefore it was withdrawn. I do not know of any other matters involving this. Can't WHMC, West Hampshire Magistrates Court, to detain him? So, after receiving this piece of paper stating the prosecution are having none of it, I'm swiftly given all my property back and kicked out the side entrance of the courthouse. So here I am, just been kicked out the back door of Southampton Magistrates Court. Kicked out the back. The court decided within half an hour of being here to withdraw all the charges and kick me out the back pretty damn quick. So I'm about to make my way around the front to go and see the solicitor before I head off home after my ordeal for public photography. Well, I eventually get myself home and have a conversation with my duty solicitor, who said he had a conversation with the prosecutor explaining what all this was about, where she found out that the police decided to bypass contacting the CPS because they just wanted me prosecuted and were just counting on the magistrate to slap me with a bloody great big fine. Well, that backfired in their face. After pondering about what happened and what they just did to me, I decided I'm going to draft an email that explains what happened to me, along with links to the videos, because I've decided I'm going to sue them. Not for the money, because I don't want any of the money. And I stated this in my email draft that I sent off to various actions against police solicitors, that any compensation awarded would be publicly donated to charity. Because contrary to what a lot of you YouTube trolls believe, I don't run my channel for money. I don't monetize my videos. I make all my content for free in my spare time. And I don't go out looking for confrontation so I can sue the police. But in this case, they just piss me off. And I wanted my day in court to get this bullshit Section 50 of the Police Reform Act being used against people unlawfully cleared up.
See what happens next. You'd have to head over to the Pinaci channel. But I want to look at release without charge. Doesn't automatically mean the arrest was unlawful, but it can raise red flags. If the original grounds were unclear, necessity wasn't justified, or custody reviews identified inconsistencies, the entire process may be flawed. And as you can see in Pinaci News's videos, there were loads and loads of inconsistencies, and especially against his welfare. And it's all they wanted was his name and address. Absolutely disgusting. So if you walk out with no charge, no caution, no explanation and no apology, that silence says everything about how solid the arrest really was. But in Pinaci's case, they actually charged him, took him to court. That was then thrown out of court, or the prosecutor threw it out of court because the police bypassed the due process. PACE is designed to limit police power through transparency. When arrests go wrong, several routes exist for accountability. These are PSD complaints, IOPC escalation, judicial review, civil claims for false imprisonment or unlawful arrest, and internal professional standards reviews. A badge gives power, not immunity. PACE exists to keep that balance. If an arrest or detention was mishandled or unlawful, 1. Request all custody records. 2. Request body cam and CCTV footage. 3. Document timings and conversations. 4. Submit a PSD complaint. 5. Escalate to the IOPC if mishandled. 6. Seek legal advice for harm, financial loss or distress. Paperwork wins, timelines win. If the arrest didn't follow the law gives you the tools to challenge it. So some key takeaways are: arrest requires both reasonable suspicion and clear necessity. The custody sergeant must ensure detention is lawful. Rights under Code C protect the detainee at every stage. Weak grounds and poor explanations can undermine the entire detention. PACE isn't optional. If they claim power, They must follow procedure. Arrest and custody are powerful tools of the state and powerful responsibilities. Understanding your rights ensures those powers are used lawfully. So remember, whether it's CCTV, DSARs or custody doors, the law applies everywhere. And on this channel, we follow through, not just film. Please subscribe to the channel to support the work I do. Please share this video to someone who may need it. And I'll see you next time I'm out and about.